We're inside of one of the most historic gymnasiums in the state of Indiana. It is Memorial Gymnasium here in downtown Kokomo for live coverage of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament here on the IHSAA Sports Network for the next game in the first session here today of this tournament between the Center Grove Trojans, number 8 in Class 4A, getting set to take on the Wildcats of South Bend Riley. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Jim, good to be with you here once again. Obviously, two teams you have never faced each other before, but that's the beauty of these holiday tournaments.
Absolutely, and that's why the coaches like them. It lets their kids get out. Probably you're going to come down. You're going to get a hotel room, which could become an issue in the regional portion or maybe even the semi-state of this tournament. So good practice for that kind of thing.
Of course, a great atmosphere to do it as well. This gym built back in 1949, one of the oldest standing gymnasiums in the state of Indiana. It used to have a seating capacity of 7,200 seats before it was renovated back to about 5,000 or so, but still hasn't taken away from the je ne sais quoi of this place.
Without question, this place is a really neat old barn, and again, those renovations occur for many different reasons. Probably to update, I'm sure when it was built, it was all basketball. Nobody cared about batting cages or wrestling mats and all that stuff.
Just basketball.
Yeah, just basketball. But obviously, as schools evolve, communities evolve, those things become necessary, and those renovations also become necessary.
Two teams certainly looking to capitalize big time today here. Of course, none more so than that team right there on your screen, that being the Center Grove Trojans. They are 8-0 coming into this contest here, Jim. That is their best start since 1988.
Yeah, Coach Hahn has done a fantastic job of building a program. He is in his 9th year at Center Grove. Sometimes, it takes a few years to get, the youth league started and all that stuff.
Then on the other side of the coin, you have the South Bend Riley Wildcats, 5-4 on the year under third-year head coach Alex Daniel. But needless to say, this is a team still trying to figure themselves out after having what was probably an outstanding initial year for Alex Daniel, in which they made it to the regional round. Of course, he inherited a heck of a squad that year.
Well, again, and he comes in at 35-23, as you said, in his third year, but off to a good start and has already got them compete. First, you have to compete, okay? And then when you can compete and win sectionals, maybe you can work into the regionals and compete at that level. Then if you can compete at that level, 2 or 3 years later, maybe a semi-state and on down the road.
Now we're getting introduced to the starting lineups here tonight for today's game here in the night session of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament. The starting lineups tonight sponsored by Virtual Announcer, which is brought to you by Aaron Pittman as well. Make your game day experience the absolute best by hiring Aaron. And if he can't be there, he can be your virtual announcer. And that's for any sport, not just hoops. Find out more and just how affordable it can be at Virtual Announce on social or by calling 317-800-0612. And Jim, one of the players, of course, to highlight for Center Grove, Marcus Acne, a senior, averaging 15 points a contest. He's certainly going to be one of the guys that they look to here tonight.
Yeah, he is definitely their go-to player. He leads the team. Of course, another good player is Joey Schmitz. He averages about 14.5, and then you got Will Spellman averaging about 10. So 3 guys that can score the ball. South Bend Riley, I'm sure, is very, very well aware of that.
And here are your starting lineups for South Bend Riley as well. The go-to guy for the Wildcats, Marvin Schindler, only a sophomore. And in fact, Jim, one of about 4 sophomores that are in this regular starting lineup for South Bend Riley. They are certainly a young team.
I noticed that too. Again, lots and lots of 10s, lots of sophomore years next to my scorecard here. And that, again, bodes very, very well for Coach Daniel. They're learning to compete, but now they're also getting great minutes.
So here we go, getting set for an excellent matchup here to continue play here throughout the regular season. In fact, this is the halfway point for both of these teams here tonight. Again, Center Grove, if they win here today, it will be their best start in school history. Again, the last time they started 8-0 was back in 1988. They have never in program history started with 9 straight wins. South Bend Riley looking for their 6th win of the season to at least stay above 500. We're getting set to go here as we get set for the next game here of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament here on the IHSAA Sports Network. We're underway.
Center Grove opens in a man defense here, or maybe a matchup man. Matchup zone, I think.
And going right to the hoop right there with the scoop and score is Peyton Baird, the junior, one of the elder statesmen here on this South Bend squad.
Boy, really showing his length there.
And outside for a tray on the way, and it's true. There for Joey Schmitz, the other player, that, as you mentioned there, Jim, that you'll be seeing a lot of here for the Trojans.
Yeah, you got to get a hand in his face. You can't give him that good of an open look.
Firing a tray of his own there, nicely done by Marvin Schindler, the sophomore averaging 15 a game.
So far, everyone's shooting 1,000%, 3 for 3.
In fact, this is a Center Grove squad coming off of a game just a couple of days ago against Perry Meridian, where they shot 8 of 11 from behind the arc through the entire game.
Yeah, Ankney does a nice job there of just hustling and was able to knock the ball off a South Bend Riley player. So they're going to retain the possession. It was an easy rebound. Ankney hustled in, swatted it off the leg.
Again, the Trojans, coached by Zach Hahn. Of course, that name might be familiar to many Butler fans watching tonight's broadcast. Of course, a 4-year player under Coach Brad Stevens there at Butler University, part of those 2 teams that went to back-to-back national championship appearances. Now in his 9th year as the head coach of Center Grove, and a traveling violation here by the Trojans. Turning the ball over is not something that the Trojans do a lot of. They only average about 8 turnovers a contest.
Yeah, they got 2 already. So, again, I'm sure Coach Hahn's going to extend the defense here, going to 3-quarter pressure, try to trap him in the corner.
And throwing it out of bounds off of the Center Grove player, off of Spellman. There was Caleb Francis, and they'll retain possession. Of course, the officials for tonight's game are Bill Forehand as well as Justin Markley and Nick Slowick. Going right out of bounds there again. Of course, tonight's officials brought to you by Andrew Prince Realty. Whether it's buying, selling, renting, or even investing when it comes to real estate, Andrew Prince with Century 21 Sheets is here to help at 317-883-7575 or online at prince.indiehomehunt.com. So back-to-back turnovers here for both teams to get things going after, as you said, Jim, 1,000% shooting to get things going. So both teams kind of cooled off here over the last minute.
Yeah, a little illegal screen there by Jalen Barbera away from the ball.
Into the corner, 3 on the way again, and it hits for Joey Schmitz. He's 2 for 2.
Well, Joey's on his way to his 14.5.
Trying to split it inside. Some very suffocating defense by the Trojans. 2-on-1 advantage and an easy lay in there for Ankney. His first 2 points of the ball game, coming off of a 17-point affair 3 games ago against Whiteland. He has a season high of 21 points against Franklin earlier this season.
So Schmitz picks up his first foul there. They tried to trap right at the 10-second line. I love it. When the ball gets across the 10-second line, that's a great time to trap. Obviously, you can't go back behind it. It's a turnover. Really puts him in a bad spot. South Bend Riley gets lucky with the foul.
Here's Schindler. He's deadly from behind the arc, but he is nowhere close to the rim that time. And nice ball movement back outside. Here's Spellman. He dumps it back outside to Bundy, wide open for 3. And it's poked out there by McComb. A fresh set here for Center Grove. And 3 for 3 now is Joey Schmitz. He has 9 quick points.
Well, that's 2 plays in a row there where McComb has kept the ball alive.
And back the other way, Manny Hill, described as the glue guy by head coach Alex Daniel for this Riley squad. That's 3 different players now in the scoring column here for South Bend Riley as they trail by 4. And loading up a 3 this time is McComb, and he's off the mark. Riley trying to push the issue. Here's Barbera. Kicks it back outside to Francis. He somehow dribbles off his foot, gets the ball back, and puts it off the glass. Nothing doing. Here's Spellman. Kind of a mismatch here on Hill. And before that, he gets 1 too many steps in the paint, and he gets called for traveling.
Yeah, you see that sometimes with big fellas as they're trying to kind of box you down a little bit. They'll hop, and that was the call on the floor.
Timeout on the floor here with 4:27 left to go. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here as Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Hoosier Shooting Academy. Be sure to combine cutting-edge technology with old-school work ethic to make your game better at the Hoosier Shooting Academy. Go see Paul at 465 and Brookville Road, and always online at HoosierShooting.net. Jim, your thoughts on these first 4 minutes of this ball game?
Well, it looks like Center Grove was really trying to control the pace, the tempo, and then the converse of that, South Bend Raleigh saying, okay, if you're going to pick us up three-quarters court, we're going to move the basketball. We're going to try to push it down before you can get set up. Right now, we're again like two heavyweight fighters, still just kind of punching, feeling each other out. Again, the three-quarter press is right here.
This has certainly been an issue here for Riley as it's poked right at midcourt away, and that sets up Acne for another easy two. So some quick turnovers here forced by Center Grove. And down underneath, and a nice move underneath the backboard there by Peyton Baird.
That's very, very impressive. I thought he was going to kind of kick it out.
And Acne back the other way doing the same thing. So Acne and Baird kind of trading jabs down below right now for both of these squads.
Coach Hahn giving them yet another look. Started in the three-quarter, immediately called him off. You could see everybody just retreat at the same time. It was really nice to watch.
And they're going to get a foul here instead of a steal. It's going to be on Joey Schmitz. That'll be his second already. And only the second foul here on Center Grove.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get a replay on this thing or not, but if we do, we may have just gotten a little bit.
So they get a shooting foul here, so this puts Schindler at the line for a couple free throws. Again, Schindler, leading scorer here for South Bend Riley this season. He shoots 70% at the foul stripe this season. Coach Daniel describing him as fearless around the rim with excellent ball movement. He's certainly shown that so far here tonight. Here's Acne. Almost gets swatted from behind, but he threads the needle.
Really, really nice athletic move to beat the defender off the dribble. Was able to finish at the rim and in traffic. Very impressive.
Acne already has 8 points. And going right to the rim is Jalen Barbera, another sophomore here for Riley.
That was also impressive. Again, leaving your feet, sometimes that can get you in trouble. If you got athletic ability, you can finish, and both of those players did.
Long pass there up top. It gets back into the hands of Acne. And it goes out of bounds, staying here with the Trojans. Again, these two teams have never played each other at all in the last 35 years, as far back as records available to us will go.
Peyton Bird and Dylan Meter in the ball game for Center Grove. Peyton Bird with just a great name. There's been 2 professional athletes, maybe 3, Reggie Miller. Maybe his middle name's Reggie. Peyton Reggie Bird.
There's always some sort of connection there. Into the quarter, Ankney. And he drains it. 10 points now for Marcus Ankney.
And the ball movement again is key. You mentioned it earlier, Kurt.
And the 3 is true for Jalen Barbera. That was from way behind the arc.
That last possession for Center Grove, the ball rarely touched the ground.
Of course, you reference Coach Dale of the Hoosiers movie. 4 passes. Well, both of these teams are certainly doing a lot more than that. Underneath, Ankney. He is all over the court right now, both outside the arc and inside, but he gets it stolen away from him, and right down the lane in contention there is Schindler, but he's off the mark. Pushing it up court now is Owen Baker. Outside, Ankney for 3. Off the mark, but there for a putback, and going to the floor there is Peyton Bird. And behind the back, almost going for a back and forth, and somehow into the hands of Manny Hill. Certainly an unintentionally getting into the hands of Manny Hill there, but it's a point nonetheless.
Appears as if when Riley can get out and move the basketball, that's more their game.
And there's Peyton Bird doing his Larry Bird impression right there with a 3 from the corner. He's now the 3rd different player here for Center Grove to score. It's only been Schmitz and Ankney, of course, that's as you might expect. Of course, Bird coming off the bench as well, as it's tipped out of bounds there by Peyton Baird. Of course, you have Peyton Baird for Riley and Peyton Bird for Center Grove here, trying not to get too tongue-tied.
Right. You saw Baird there, really nice job. Good extension. He's got great length. He's a tall, lanky kid, but was able to just get his hand in the passing lane.
And now they're holding up play here as looks like Peyton Baird has to come out of the ball game. Coach Daniel making it audibly clear that he wanted him to come out of the ball game. And here's Meter with it for Center Grove. Again, this is a Center Grove squad not playing in a conference this year as they left the MIC conference along with Carmel at the end of last season. A big three there by Owen Baker.
We'll see if Riley, again, what they do in the half court here. As number 3, Ian Bowles set to check in for the Wildcats. And, of course, that's Wildcats with a C, not Wildcats with a K.
Of course, you'll see the Kokomo Wildcats with a K later on here tonight.
Riley down 7 points, but it seems content to just salt away the last 30 seconds, really more about 45 seconds of the first quarter. I never quite understood that. I think when you're behind by multiple possessions, you need to move the basketball. You need more shots. You need more possession.
So here's Schindler.
You can't just let a minute tick away.
Taking his time. Now running the play here to Hill. He goes right down the lane, throws it up, and he's going to get called. Looks like it's going to be a foul before the traveling violation, so that'll be a fresh offensive set here for South Bend Riley with 7 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Well, the one thing that they did do well there is they did start moving with about 12 seconds left, and then that way, if you do get a foul or whatever, you still have plenty of time to make a play.
Long inbound here to right. Outside, Schindler loads up a three. That's off the front of the rim. And Center Grove will heave it across court to bring us to the end of quarter number 1. It's been all Center Grove so far here. They lead by 7. Going to quarter number 2 on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score.
There you see the Kokomo sideline right now. That's head coach Zach Hahn, and you didn't see it during the break. He was absolutely livid with the start on defense that his team has had here going into this second quarter. The second quarter brought to you by Coca-Cola of Kokomo. The Phil Cox Memorial Tourney is presented by Coca-Cola of Kokomo, which has been your local Coca-Cola bottler since 1907 and serves 25 high schools across north central Indiana. Find out more at cckokomo.com. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling, and needless to say, that pep talk from Coach Zach Hahn got things going right there for Ethan McComb to get things going here for the second quarter. Back the other way, and a three is true there by Manny Hill. Inside, Ankney, spin around jumper from the elbow, and a big rebound by Will Spellman, and he's going to be fouled there by Riley.
Well, you know, when I noticed in the stats is that Ankney, Schmitz, and Spellman, all three are just offensive rebound fools. They find a way to get the basketball. That can lead to a lot of second chance points.
Fouls on Manny Hill that previous take. That's his first. In the corner, Baker again. That's off the mark. Top of the key here, back to Schindler. Now somehow a mismatch here between Spellman and Schindler here at the top.
Schindler's looking at him like, what am I supposed to do with this guy? He's
Yeah.
about 8 inches taller than me.
Keyshawn Wright back into the ball game here for Riley after starting the game on the bench.
Jalen Bundy, I think, hurt himself for Center Grove. He's kind of limping.
And a long possession here for Riley. Trying to wear down the defense here of Center Grove. A nice split of the defenders there by Schindler.
Yeah, Coach Hahn's going to have to get Bundy out of the ballgame. He's really limping badly.
And so now the officials stop play here. And it was not a coach's timeout at all. It looks like the officials are going to converse here.
Yeah, I heard the officials say clock.
Maybe there was a discrepancy here on when the clock may or may not have started. It
Correct.
shows 7:13 at the moment. And so the officials are going to come down here to the scorer's table.
You know, Kurt, that's one of the so many things that officials have to pay attention to throughout the course of the ball game, in addition to watching for fouls and travels and all that stuff. Somebody's kind of have to make sure that they're starting it and stopping it. It's hard, you know, because your focus is really on the court. It's not up in the, you know, up in the rafters.
Of course, that's why they have 3 sets of eyes here for these officials to make sure all points are covered here. So a 7:13 remaining on the clock here. We play on. Here's Bundy again, looking a little gimpy there at the moment, but he's still moving the ball.
Yeah, he looks better now than he did a minute ago. Down here on this defensive possession, he was really limping.
Here's Ankney, waiting for his shot, gets it to fall and draws the and one. Marcus Ankney is having himself a ball game here. That was a heads-up play there to draw the and one.
Yeah, you're going to see the replay here. Nice job. He kind of maybe got a little bit of a walk there. Kind of drug that last foot on the shot fake. The official did not see that, but he did see the contact.
Foul is on Manny Hill. That is going to be his second foul here of the ball game. And Ankney cannot convert the old-fashioned three-point play. Right, off the bank. He cashes in right there from the teller.
Yeah, probably not the way that he designed it in his mind, but it works. It counts.
And just like that here, Jim, it's back to a three-point ball game.
A lot of contact there, no call.
Ankney just inside the arc and just off the front of the rim. Schindler flying up court through the defenders. Low pass blocked out of bounds by Ankney. He can score, he can rebound, and clearly he can swat as well as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, they're going to get him with the foul here again just because of the way I think he swatted down.
Just a little bit of hand there.
Yep.
So that'll be Ankney's first personal foul here of the ball game.
Coach Hahn has what looks like a shift change in hockey getting ready to go in here.
That will include Garrett Messer, as well as starter Joey Schmitz and Peyton Bird back into the ball game as well. So many of the last 4 players here going to be taking a seat as they switch things out again. Meanwhile, Bowles is at the line here for South Bend Riley. He goes 1 of 2 at the charity stripe.
Yeah, really nice to be able to mass substitute like that. You can, again, if you want to control the tempo, you certainly can do it by getting fresh bodies in the ball game.
Coach Hahn, of course, bringing a pretty deep bench with a variety of experience. And nice cut up the middle there by Bird. Can't finish. Somehow gets the rebound, and we have a foul underneath. They're going to get Peyton Baird of South Bend Riley here with his first. And this will put Dylan Meter at the line here for Center Grove. He's only attempted 2 free throws all season long through these first 8 games. And that is his first miss on the season.
Yeah, you got to remember, you know, it's still relatively early in the game or in the season. So when you see a kid shooting 100% from the line, take a look, see how many he shot.
And now he is 0 for 2 now. So now he's 50% on the season.
I did notice one player, and I can't remember which game, either this one or the next one, is 18 of 18. Now, that's impressive. That's Steve Alford's territory.
Right from the elbow. Can't get the teardrop to fall. In fact, right down the lane again is Bird. He can't get that to go. And here comes South Bend Riley. And just to check that here, Jim, you would be correct. Joey Schmitz of Center Grove, 100%, 18 of 18 from the charity stripe here this season.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which game it was, but now that's impressive. You look at 100 and you go, okay, was he 2 of 2? No,
cut down the middle. Nicely done by Brandon Williams. So Riley is certainly spreading the ball out here. They have now had 6 different players get in the scorer's column here tonight. Bundy can't finish on the awkward shot. Screaming up court, right. Waits for the defenders to fall away. Back underneath. And Baird cannot finish at the rim. Approaching the halfway mark here of this second quarter. Meter for three, and he's off the mark. Poked out of bounds. Kept by the Trojans. Meandering his way around. Outside to Bundy, and now into the corner. Schmitz for three. And that's now 3 straight missed trays there by the Trojans after they started off pretty hot shooting the ball. South Bend Riley now has tied this game up here very quietly, Jim.
Yeah, and you look at the pregame stats. They do have 5 guys that average about 10. Baird gets 8.5, and Barbera gets 11. Williams gets about 9. So, I mean, you got 5 guys that can score the ball. So the fact that they're getting 5 or 6 people involved is not horribly surprising.
South Bend Riley has outscored Center Grove here 11-4 in this second quarter so far. Working his way around, somehow gets into the hands of Wright, and he's just able to get a nice little dunk right there. And a timeout on the floor here. Coach Zach Hahn has seen enough. It's a 30-second timeout. He's going to talk things over here with his Trojans squad. So while we have a moment, Scott Young of Midwest Financial offers a wide range of products and services that can help clients get the stability needed to face life's experiences and surprises. Scott will work in sync with his clients to uncover their financial goals, review the state of your financial health, and identify strategies to guide you up and down the financial mountain. Email Scott at syoung@onemidwestfp.com. So what are you telling your coach, what are you telling your team right now here, Jim, while you're Zach Hahn? Obviously, defensively, things have been a little bit of a struggle here for Center Grove of late.
Well, again, they've got to convert. They've got to get back because Riley is trying to push the basketball. They don't want to let Center Grove set up their defense. So, I mean, they're going to try to push it and get short shots, quick shots. Actually, Riley benefited. Probably should have been a turnover that last possession. But, again, the ball did fall right into the hands of a Riley, Keyshawn Wright, who was able to convert it. But just defensively, we got to convert. We got to get back. Stop giving them easy shots.
So here's Marcus Ankney. He had 10 points in that first quarter. He's been held to 2 so far through this second. And another turnover here by Center Grove. Behind the back goes Caleb Francis. Into the corner. 3 on the way from Barbera. And that's just off the front of the iron. The Trojans are in desperate need of a basket. Instead, they get another turnover. Barbera takes it himself. Tipped up, and Ankney comes away with it. Pushing it ahead to McComb. Cut underneath. Nicely done by Dylan Meter.
Well, Center Grove playing a little conversion of their own there. Just rebound, kick out. Run the fast break drill there.
And that's Center Grove's first bucket in about a couple minutes or so. Riley trying to get the lead back, and they do so with Schindler. That's his second 3 of the ball game. So both teams have led here. And another turnover almost by Schmitz. It goes out of bounds, and it stays here with Center Grove. So the Trojans right now are just kind of coughing up the ball on pretty much on every possession at some point.
The ball has gotten loose a lot, and again, I'm not in any way a medical person, but gosh, Bundy just keeps limping. He's got that red, compression sock on his left leg.
Here's Bundy now taking it in. He kicks it back outside. Spellman wide open for 3. And that's certainly not something he does. He's only, not normally he does anyway. He's attempted 4 3-pointers all season long, and he's actually made all of them. So that's his first miss from behind the arc. And now we'll have a foul coming up here to put Center Grove at the line.
Again, 2 offensive rebounds on that possession there, Kurt. One by Ankney and the other one by McComb. But, I mean, you're not getting just second chance opportunities. You're getting third chance opportunities.
And Ankney's able to kind of break the stalemate here for Center Grove. Again, Marcus Ankney committed to play at Indiana Wesleyan next year. That'll be a good get right there for IWU up there in Fort Wayne. And Ankney makes both free throws. 14 points now for him. He leads all scorers. Down the side of the lane is Baird. He kicks it outside to Schindler. Step back three, short. Dunk on the follow-up by Caleb Francis. What a play by the senior.
What a way to get in the scorebook. That's his first bucket of the ball game, and very impressive one at that.
Tipped out of bounds, another turnover on Center Grove. And so the Trojans, again, feeling the pressure right now here in the first half.
I got him with 7 turnovers. You're going to see this dunk again. Watch this. Young man's been sitting on the bench a little bit, going, put me in the game, coach, because I can do that.
Just what heads-up play and what heads-up thinking there by the senior to follow the shot. No-look pass gets tipped up into the hands of Schindler, and from the charity stripe, he knocks home 2. South Bend Riley is really feeling the momentum right now. They have their largest lead of the ball game at 5.
They're getting those tipped balls. That's the second one that's ended up in a bucket where probably should have been a turnover. But fortunately for South Bend Riley, it just fell right in the hands of one of their better shooters.
Spellman working inside here on Baird. He gets double-teamed. And in traffic, he's going to throw up a shot and draw a foul. And Peyton Baird has his jaw hit the floor. He can't believe it. That's going to be his second foul in the ball game.
Well, Will Spellman did just about everything in his toolbox there. Pivots and head fakes and spins and just everything he could to get that shot away, and was able to draw the foul.
Spellman at the line for the first time tonight. Standing all of 6'5". He is the leading rebounder on this ball club, averaging 4 a contest. He also leads the team in field goal percentage, actually. He averages 9 points a game, but when he shoots from the field, he is 81%. Nice follow-up there by Barbera off the missed shot from Schindler. Back to a 6-point advantage here for Riley. Inside McComb. Gets it to Ankney. Spins back around to get the way from the defender. Marcus Ankney is a fun player to watch.
Yeah, really nice job of just being real soft there. Now, one of the things that Center Grove has done a lot this ballgame is drive the lane and shoot those 5, 6, 8-footers. A lot of teams don't do that. They go right to the rim. They're either going to get fouled. Center Grove seems to make that a big part of their offense. They're going to be able to hit those shots.
Final minute here of this second quarter. On the shot fake is Francis. Dunk number 2. Caleb Francis living above the rim tonight.
Yeah, he kind of saw that one coming, Kurt. You know, and once he got the defender up in the air on the shot fake, there was really nobody on help side. That was going to be a dunk from about the time he put it on the floor.
Center Grove led this game by as many as 7 points. They have squandered that and now given up an 8-point lead here to Riley. Working inside, Ankney. Back outside, Spellman for 3. Off the mark. 10 seconds left to go here for the Trojans. They try again with Baker. This time he hits. And that should bring us to the end of quarter number 2. The full court shot doesn't go there for Riley. It's been a back and forth battle right here between the Trojans and the Wildcats. We'll take a timeout here going to halftime. Back in a moment to the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament on the ISC Sports Network.
Fall means football, and on the ISC, we've got you covered all season long. Catch our broadcast live on television on MyNDTV 23 and Comcast 81, as well as streaming on ISCSportsNetwork.com. With a subscription to ISC for only $4.99 a month, you get access to our entire library, viewable anytime, anywhere, on our website or on the ISC app. Don't miss a single broadcast. ISC Sports Network. Football lives here. The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a 3rd season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, ISCSportsNetwork.com.
Are they doing a third
you can
season
see
on that show?
episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. So many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com. Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds remaining.
Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it.
That's the finish.
You get a layup taken and an and one. Out of here.
Well, it's been a back-and-forth battle here in this one of the night session here of the opening day of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Jim Leisure. I'm Kurt Darling here as the Wildcats of South Bend Riley leading the number 8 team in Class 4A by 3 here at halftime, 42-39. Well, Jim, take a look at the stat sheet here right now. The one eye-popping thing that I see in front of me is the fact that Center Grove is out-rebounding South Bend Riley 23-12, but they're down by 3 points.
Yeah, and 13 of those rebounds are on the offensive end, which obviously gives you more opportunities to score the ball. And, you know, I have in my notes here, again, how good they are on the offensive glass. I didn't know they were going to be this good. They average, I think, about 13 a game, and they're already there. So, yeah, just you got to score the ball. You got to protect the basketball. One of the things, again, coming into the ball game, Center Grove averages about 8 turnovers a game. They've already got 7 in just 16 minutes of play. Flip that over, and South Bend Riley's only turned it over 3 times. So protect the basketball, score it when you can, and leads to good things.
Leading scorer right now for Center Grove is Marcus Ankney, as you might expect. He has 16 points to go along with 4 total rebounds. But Marvin Schindler, as well, as you might expect, the leading scorer for South Bend Riley. He has 12. But the one thing that I'm certainly seeing as well here, Coach, is the fact that South Bend Riley seems to be spreading the ball out a lot more amongst their players better than Center Grove is.
Yeah, early in the ball game, Center Grove was very, very hot from the field, almost couldn't miss, doing a real nice job of moving the ball, getting good open looks. It looks like Riley kind of changed the defense and just kind of upped the defensive pressure just a bit, started taking away those easy looks, and then was able to, again, to go on fast breaks and get good shots. And again, they've been a little bit lucky. There have been a couple tip balls that probably should have been turnovers that, luckily for Riley, go right into the hands of one of their best shooters, who then hits an 8-footer or a 10-footer for an easy bucket.
We'll go ahead and take a timeout here as we're in the middle of halftime between Center Grove and South Bend Riley here at the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament here on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Welcome back here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Jim Leisure. I'm Kurt Darling. We'll go ahead and continue our break here at halftime here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
God, there you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That in the Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds remaining.
Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it.
That's the finish. And an and one.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello. Did it again. Hello. Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Well, the South Bend Riley Wildcats had a really good second quarter to outscore Center Grove and come back from a 7-point deficit. They now lead by 3 here in the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament on the ISC Sports Network alongside Jim Leisure. I'm Kurt Darling. The Wildcats leading the Trojans by 3 here going to the second half. Well, Coach, obviously the Wildcats have a pep in their step coming into the second half here, but you're Center Grove. What'd you tell your team if you're head coach Zach Hahn?
Well, I think you got to get back to what we did in the first quarter. Let's move the basketball. Let's get back. And it would not surprise me to see him come back to that three-quarter court press, because it was creating some bad passes and resulted in a couple of turnovers, or at least one I remember for South Bend. But you know what? I tell you, I'm very impressed with Riley. When you look at the records, 5-4 for South Bend, 8-0 for Center Grove. You look at all the youth on this Riley team. I thought this would be a little bit more Center Grove. I really like what Coach Alec Daniels is building, and if you're the rest of the state of Indiana, you may want to take a closer look at the South Bend Riley Wildcats, because they've got some nice players and they play well together. They share the basketball. They hustle. Like what I'm seeing out of this young ball club.
You also might remember earlier in the second quarter where we had that discrepancy with the clock. Well, it turns out, Coach, we may have had an extra minute of basketball played. It may have been a 9-minute quarter because the officials didn't acknowledge the fact that the clock had not started on an inbound, of course, from what we've been hearing from the fans, for almost a minute.
Yeah, that's, again, what we talked to a couple fans here. And unfortunately, as an official, whether you're a baseball umpire, football official, basketball official, you can't really call what people in the stands are saying. If you didn't see it, if you didn't say, you know what, I do remember looking up, and let's say there was 7:13, and that was probably about a minute ago, so let's make it 6:13. But if you didn't see it, you can't call it. And so that's they said, you know what? It is what it is. It started now. Let's play.
And we're going to be doing just that here as the starters for both teams getting back out here on the floor here for the second half. Again, South Bend Riley looking for their 6th win of the season. That would be their second time having a 2-game win streak. They had back-to-back wins against Merrillville and John Glenn earlier this year, but they have since split the difference between their 2 games since between Mishawaka, Northridge, South Bend, St. Joseph, and Plymouth. Meanwhile, Center Grove, as we mentioned in the pregame, looking to extend their season-opening win streak to 9 straight games for the first time in school history. We'll find out here in the next 2 quarters. Second half underway here inside of Memorial Gymnasium in Kokomo. Almost a steal there by Ankney. Gets into the hands of Schindler, and he's off the mark on another tray. And Manny Hill kind of hot potatoes it back and forth between he and Francis, and Barbera cashes in.
Once again, though, a tipped ball that probably should have been a turnover, at least an out of bounds, goes into the hand of the shooter. State keeps the drive alive, so to speak, the possession alive, and results in points.
That extends it back out to a 6-point advantage here for Riley. And another turnover by Center Grove. Schindler off the steal into the corner. Finds Barbera. Kind of an awkward pass, and they'll have to set up the offense. Here's Francis right down the lane again. Almost gets a wild shot to fall, but he took one too many steps in doing so.
Caleb is really good at those athletic off-balance plays, as we've seen twice already.
He's only averaging 3 points a contest. He had a season high of 7 against John Glenn back on December 8th.
As obviously some perspiration on the floor there, and the official and a couple players trying to rub it out with their shoes. There's a stack of towels over here. They could have probably used one of those.
You and I were talking in the hospitality room before this game here, Jim, about how this floor here at Memorial Gymnasium has been very well kept. It almost looks like the original from back in the 40s. As you see Jalen Bundy with an awesome shot and gets the and one.
Well, obviously, again, it takes a lot of hard work to maintain a hardwood floor, but this floor has been here for a long, long time. As you see the replay there, nice job of just finding the opening. And when you swat like that, I say it all the time, you might as well blow the whistle on yourself.
So Barbera picks up his second foul of the ball game. This puts Bundy back at the line for an and one, and he is off the mark. So now Center Grove 0 for 2 on and one opportunities here so far today. Schindler on the cut along the baseline.
And I like that kid. He's 5'8", but he plays a lot taller than that. That's a young man that understands the game, understands positioning, hits that shot, that little 8-footer. Nobody shoots those anymore. Nobody can hit them.
Schindler now has 14 points. 3 ball on the way from Bundy. That's short. And Baird comes away with it. Pushing it ahead now to Francis. Can he go number 3? No. Blocked at the rim by Spellman. And Schindler can't get it on the second chance opportunity. Schmitz dumps it off to Ankney. Back to Schmitz again in the corner. He goes along the baseline, tries a reverse, and he'll go to the line.
They're going to get Francis on this one. We'll see what they say. Yep.
And so that'll be Francis's first foul here. So Joey Schmitz has been quiet ever since he hit 3 straight three-pointers to open the game here for Center Grove. He has 9 points, but he went for nada in the second quarter. And it continues to be so there as Schmitz banks off the first free throw.
Well, and I feel partially responsible because we did kind of broadcast jinx him a bit. He is now 18 of 19.
Coach Zach Hahn said earlier this week about how Schmitz can play pretty much either 1, 2, or 3 in the lineup here for Center Grove. He is a utility player that he loves to rely on. Schmitz now has 10 points. Riley coughs it up, and Ankney's going to go right to the rim. And a nice soft dunk. And this does not look good here for South Bend Riley as Jalen Barbera is a little bit gimpy coming up. Looks like he's going to be okay, just kind of walking it off. But he was certainly slow to get up right there, and we'll play on here with 5:40 left to go in the third. Ankney now working close to a new season high. He has 21 points as a season high on the season. He has 18 so far. Schindler for 3 again. And now Schindler's catching up to Ankney. He has 17 with that 3.
And, you know, the most impressive thing, and I've already talked about how I love watching the kid play, he's just a sophomore. Keep working hard, kid. I mean, seriously, don't rest on what you got. Get better.
This is a team of sophomores for Riley, but that is Ethan McComb, a senior, showing his experience with a 3.
He came into the ballgame with 10. That's his 11th on the season.
But this is a Riley squad. Again, starts 4 sophomores and a junior. There is only 1 senior on this squad, rather a few seniors as well for South Bend Riley here as Schindler tries to get it to 20. And he's off the mark. And now a foul in transition here on Manny Hill. That is going to be his 3rd. So Manny Hill will have to check out of the ball game in some foul trouble. We'll see Brandon Williams, another sophomore, back into the lineup here for Riley. It's been all South Bend Riley here in the third quarter. They have led by 3, and Center Grove has not been able to get within that margin of error. Trying to do just that here is Ankney, and he does. That's a big three-pointer there by Ankney. That's his first three-pointer of the ball game. And a turnover by Riley on the other end.
Yeah, that time I think Schindler was just trying to do a little too much. Had Francis underneath, and ball got away.
Ankney coughs it up, but somehow Spellman comes away with it. And he kicks it back up top here to McComb. Here's Schmitz. Gets into the lane, lowers the shoulder into the chest, no call, and they're going to give Schmitz the basket.
You see that called a lot in nowadays. It didn't used to be. It had to be one of those deals where it was everybody set, blah, blah, blah. But Coach Daniels asking the officials, boy, did he not just drop his shoulder and bowl into it?
Center Grove now leading for the first time since early in the second quarter, and now we got a little chippiness here, it looks like, as you saw Baird get poked in the eye and then follow it up right there with a little body shot there from Ethan McComb.
Yeah, I don't think that there was anything malicious there. Again, it was an accidental poke in the eye, and then, you know, at that point, the Center Grove player decided, you know what, he can't see, so now's a good time to reach for the ball.
We're going to have a substitution as well, as we'll see Ian Bowles back into the ball game for the Wildcats. We'll take a look at this sequence here again. Again, just an inadvertent eye poke there by Bundy. And then, yeah, just going for the ball there was McComb. So certainly wasn't a, didn't look anything too intentional right there.
Yeah, Baird, I don't think could see him, so then there was contact, but that was, again, because he had his eyes closed.
So Baird will take a seat as he rubs his eye out. And Riley will play on here, down by 2. It's been an excellent ball game here between these two squads. Again, they have never met before on the hardwood. And a huge three by Jalen Barbera. He knows how to hit it from deep. And a timeout taken on the floor here, as both of these teams will talk things over. Look at the range on this shot.
Yeah, that's one of those where, and coaches do this all the time. I did it as a broadcaster. I'm like, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Nice shot.
Full timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score. Fall means football, and on the ISC, we've got you covered all season long. Catch our broadcast live on television on MyNDTV 23 and Comcast 81, as well as streaming on ISCSportsNetwork.com. With a subscription to ISC for only $4.99 a month, you get access to our entire library, viewable anytime, anywhere, on our website or on the ISC app. Don't miss a single broadcast. ISC Sports Network. Football lives here.
Tonight's game brought to you by Andrew Prince Realty. Whether it's buying, selling, renting, or even investing when it comes to real estate, Andrew Prince with 21st Century Sheets is here to help at 317-883-7575 or online at prince.indyhomehunt.com. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling here. Jim, we have ourselves a ball game here inside of Memorial Gymnasium.
Yeah, this is fantastic, and the crowd's really starting to show up here now as the Kokomo game is set to start here in a little bit. Another Center Grove turnover.
Bowles dumps it off now to Schindler. Into the corner, Francis wants to take the three ball. He kind of throws a line drive at the basket. It's off the mark. It's tipped out of bounds. And it'll stay here with Riley. And here we'll see Grant Messer check back into the ball game, get a little bit of size down low. Standing all of 6'6", the senior. Here's Barbera. Tries to go up for a shot with a late pass and turns it over. Riley still on top here by 1 inside of 3 minutes left in the third. Ankney dumps it back out. 3 on the way from McComb. Off of the mark. And so Center Grove showed their shooting prowess early on, but they have not been able to hit much from behind the arc so far this second half. Ankney misses another one, and right down the lane again quickly goes Jaden Barbera. Jalen Barbera now again, another sophomore. He has come alive here in this third quarter. He now has 8 points in this quarter alone, as he's in double figures on the night overall. Here's Messer. Working on Bowles, tries to dump it underneath to Bundy, trying to wait for his opportunity, and it gets it stolen away this time by Barbera. Barbera puts it ahead to Williams. He loads up a three off the mark, a little too strong. And Bundy with a little bit of advantage here, only for a moment. Euro step inside, and he'll go to the line. And you just get the sense here, Jim, that Center Grove, they are literally getting everything thrown at them here from this South Bend Riley squad.
Yeah, no doubt about it here. And again, looks like that is the third foul, I believe.
It is indeed. Going to be on Jalen Barbera.
So you probably ought to get him out for 2 minutes. But then, honestly, if I'm Coach Daniel, I just put him back in the fourth quarter, let him play.
So Coach Daniel going to put Keyshawn Wright back in here. Coach Daniel, again, in his third season as the head coach here at South Bend Riley. He was actually an assistant coach for 7 years at Bethel University in the NAIA level before coming back down here to, quote, hunker down in the high school ranks here. He inherited a South Bend Riley squad that had eventual Notre Dame player and San Antonio Spurs player Blake Wesley on the squad back in 2019.
Riley being very patient, which they can afford to be with a 2-point lead. Doesn't necessarily have to push.
Entering the final 90 seconds here of this third quarter. Francis loads it up from deep. He's off the mark. Bundy with the rebound. Here comes Bundy. Right down the lane. Can't get it from point-blank range. That is one he would certainly want to have back. Schindler trying to do the same, and he coughs it up. Back to Bundy again ahead, and it's turned over right back again, and then another turnover right back to Center Grove. So, Jim, I believe that was 3 turnovers in a matter of 15 seconds.
Yeah, if that, maybe more like 7. And obviously, really heads-up play by a fan about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows up. You know, unlike baseball, he does not get to keep the ball. He had to throw it back.
Unfortunately not. So after that, back and forth, Center Grove able to get something set up here pretty substantial here as we enter the final minute of the third quarter. Here's Ankney along the baseline. Can't convert. Messer with the rebound and triple coverage down low. And they're going to get a foul here on Riley.
Yet another offensive rebound. This is, I tell you, Center Grove, they are an offensive rebounding machine. And not just 1 or 2 guys. I mean, you got guys now like Messer getting involved in it.
Again, Riley had 13 offensive rebounds. In fact, they had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds at the halftime period, which is not something you see every day in the sport of basketball.
No, some of that might have been the fact that, you know, again, Riley was hitting their shots. There weren't too many opportunities for defensive rebounds.
Ankney from the elbow. And that is now a new season high here for Marcus Ankney. He has 23 points here close to the end of the third.
55-55, depending on this possession here.
It's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, we could have played this whole game here 24 minutes for the opportunity to just play 8. You know, could have played, you know what, we'll just play 8 minutes and see who wins.
Final 10 seconds, and once again, Riley going to play some stall ball here. Wright gets into the lane, dumps it back out to Francis. Baseline jumper off the side of the backboard. And we go to quarter number 4. We're back at basically zeros going to the fourth quarter here on the ISC Sports Network.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC, local lives here.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a 3rd season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, ISCSportsNetwork.com.
You
can see episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.
Tonight's game brought to you by ADP and Anthony Bennett. Did you know that ADP pays 1 in 6 Americans? And did you know that if you mention ISC, you can get the full range of ADP services free for 3 months? That's right, ISC and ADP have partnered to help your small business, and it's free for 3. Call Anthony Bennett at 317-427-8249 or email at anthony.bennett@adp.com and mention ISC. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. The 4th and final quarter here of the opening night game of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament. And needless to say here, Jim, as you mentioned, it's basically a brand new ball game here going to quarter number 4.
Yeah, every possession just gets that much bigger.
And that much bigger of a shot comes from Joey Schmitz. And that gives Center Grove the lead back. Take a look at the stat sheet here at the end of quarter number 3 here, Jim. South Bend Riley overall shooting 52% from the field. Needless to say, you're going to compete with some of the best teams in the state like Center Grove shooting like that. And a foul. Center Grove wanted to travel. Instead, it's going to be a blocking foul here on Center Grove. That's going to be Baker picking up his first. And that is their first foul of the second half. They went the whole third quarter without fouling, did Center Grove.
And as impressive as that is, if this turns into a situation late in the ball game where you have to foul to get the ball back, you're going to have about 5 or 6 to give. And I'm not saying you should start fouling for that reason, but it's one of those kind of byproduct of a really good play.
It pays to have fouls in the bank when you need them.
But it's also smart not to get fouls. I mean, you know, so it's kind of like I said, one of those unusual byproducts.
Peyton Baird with the scoop and score. That's his first bucket since the first quarter. He now has 6 points. That's right at his season average. As Ankney off the mark from deep. And another turnover by coming into the hands of Center Grove, rather. And Schmitz outside to Ankney again. Ankney goes in on Hill, kicks it back out to Baker. Ankney in the corner, and he is way short on that one. Spellman comes away with it, though, and so that's going to be another third chance opportunity here for Center Grove.
And Marcus Ankney really, those last 2 shots, neither one of them really even close. Just you don't see that from a player of his ability very often.
30-second timeout here called by Coach Zach Hahn of Center Grove. Well, Scott Young offers a wide range of products and services that can help clients get the stability needed to face life's surprises. Scott will work in sync with his clients to uncover their financial goals, review the state of your financial health, and identify strategies to guide you up and down the financial mountain. Email Scott at syoung@onemidwestfp.com. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Again, this is the first of 2 games here of the night session of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament. Coming up at 8 o'clock, you'll have the home team here, the Kokomo Wildcats, taking on Bishop Lures out of Fort Wayne. Again, 2 other teams that have never faced each other in the last 35 years.
And you know, Kurt, as you look around this gymnasium, you think about all the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that have attended games here since 1949 and what this gym used to mean to Indiana high school basketball. It's still there.
As Spellman is still there as well. That's his first field goal of the ball game.
But this place, there was a day when you were lucky to get a ticket. You had to show up early, stand in the cold.
A steal here by Center Grove, poked ahead to Baker. And he's blocked, but also fouled by Manny Hill, and he is not happy with that one, and he has to be kind of corralled there by his teammate Brandon Williams as to not get a technical. That's his 4th.
Yeah, Manny's probably a little upset, again, because now it's his 4th foul, but, I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad call by any stretch, but he's got to control himself a little better than that. You don't make a bad situation worse.
He could have almost fouled out right there had he been given a technical, because he had the personal foul, and then, of course, a technical foul counts as a personal foul as well. So good on his sophomore teammate Brandon Williams to put him in check. Meanwhile, Owen Baker Misses his first foul shot.
And I believe his first one on the season, he was another young man, came into the ballgame at 100%, but he was 2 for 2.
Center Grove as a team this season shooting 71% at the charity stripe. Again, the Center Grove squad starting 8-0 on the year. They went 11-13 last year. Basically, with this exact same roster, Coach Zach Hahn brought a lot of those same players from last season back. One of those being Owen Baker, the senior. He pushes it ahead to Schmitz, waits for his opportunity, but can't convert in traffic. Here's Manny Hill. Right down the lane, barrel rolling inside. It gets tipped out of bounds. And the official waiting for the call here. It looks like it's going to stay with Riley.
Yeah, we'd have to probably get a replay on that because I don't know if he was standing on the line when he touched the basketball or was able to bounce it off somebody's leg.
So Center Grove now here with a slim lead of 2. Let's take a look at the replay here. And it looked like it went off of Center Grove and both Riley at the same time. So it's literally dealer's choice. The official keeps it here with Riley. Barbera. And now Bowles working on Spellman.
Manny Hill would really like to get involved here.
We haven't heard from Schindler in a while. He dumps it off now to Baird, who pulls up from the elbow, doesn't go, and Barbera comes away with the rebound and the putback.
Being at the right place at the right time, ties it up.
You couldn't see him at all until he had that shot up. We are at a tie ball game here. Ankney inside to Spellman. Back out to Ankney again. Off the screen, and nicely done there by Center Grove.
Yeah, Center Grove may have gotten away with a little bit of a moving screen there. Spellman basically turned his rear end, and then the defender just started backing him up.
It's basically a moving pick and roll to get inside there for Ankney. He now has 25 points, extending his season high as Hill can't convert from deep. And they're going to get Jalen Bundy there with a swat across the wrist. That'll only be his second foul here so far of the ball game.
Also team foul number 2.
So both of these teams just kind of going back and forth into the 15th round, to use the cliche prize fighter mantra. That's basically how this game has gone. Schindler around the horn. Barbera from deep again, and he's off the mark. He has hit 2 from about 4 feet behind the arc here tonight.
Big possession for Center Grove here. I think if you convert this possession 2 or 3, you put a lot of pressure on Riley.
Spellman right to the rim along the baseline, and that's exactly the kind of performance you want out of your big men in this situation. That extends the lead to 4 here, and now we got a flat tire on the floor, and Coach Daniel is furious along the sideline right now.
Well, he's upset because he's saying, hey, why are we blowing the whistle dead? My team has the basketball in the middle of a fast break. I understand the flat tire. I understand the shoe coming off. But you know what? It's not my problem, right? My kids have got the basketball. We're going the other way. I mean, we've seen it lots of times where they just let play continue until there's a natural dead ball, and then they blow the whistle.
There is a player safety aspect to consider here, as, of course, you know, a soft sock on a slippery floor like this can certainly be dangerous, but at the same time, you do understand the situation that Coach Alex Daniel finds himself in.
Yeah, in a 4-point ball game, I mean, that player does not have to continue to play hard. He knows he doesn't have a shoe on. He can alter his effort.
Here's Manny Hill, and he gets blocked there by Spellman, but they're going to call a foul there on the big man.
Again, it's only one possession, you know. I mean, so let's say Riley goes down and scores. Okay, now there's a natural dead ball. Blow the whistle, kid puts a shoe on. It's not like he has to play the whole rest of the game without it.
This is the first time that Manny Hill is at the line here tonight. He's shooting 43% on the season. He misses his first one. He has a season high of 18 points, which he got in their previous game against Perry Meridian.
As a team, Riley shoots about 67% from the line, which is not bad. I mean, that's kind of about where you want to be, but missed most of those. 70% is kind of the benchmark.
And so Manny Hill misses both of them. Points left on the board there by South Bend Riley. Ankney inside to Spellman, trying to get some give and go action there. Instead, Spellman keeps it himself, and they're going to get a call for a foul. And there you see Schindler pleading to his coach, some frustration here as South Bend kind of getting some calls not going their way at the moment.
That foul was on Caleb Francis, his third. Team seventh, so Center Grove will be shooting the rest away.
So here's Spellman. He's shooting 43% on the year. And of course, he had the season high of 18 points against Perry Meridian. I misspoke earlier about Manny Hill. And Spellman's able to convert one of two. Or rather, both of them, excuse me.
Yeah, he got both of them. I think he's 4 or 5.
Indeed,
so
he is.
43% free throw shooter, 4 or 5 tonight. He's stepping up.
Timeout here on the floor taken by South Bend Riley. It's a full timeout. We'll catch our breath with them. 2:56 left to go here in the game one of this night session here, the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
There you see Coach Alex Daniel and the South Bend Riley squad talking things over here as they're down by 5 points. That's actually the most they've been down by since the first quarter. It has been a back and forth, thread at the needle, slim battle here ever since between these two squads. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling here. Jim, what do you think he's telling his team right now in the huddle?
Well, again, he's got a diagram of play coming out of this inbounds here and try to convert the bucket. They still got plenty of timeouts left. Center Grove with 3, Riley with 2, so they're going to try something off the inbound here. This is the stuff that you work on all the time in practice. You know, hey, when we really need a bucket, you know, we're going to run a double screen. We're going to do whatever. See what they do.
So the inbound comes to Marvin Schindler. Again, he's 5'8", and a turnover here by South Bend Riley. I talked to Coach Alex Daniel earlier this week, though. He said that he's 5'8", but that he moves like a water bug all over the court. He has certainly done that. He is fast, and he can also shoot the ball lights out here tonight. He has a team leading 17 points going into the fourth quarter.
And I got him for at least 5 rebounds as well, so he's just a ball hawk. He's always around the basketball. Doesn't let the 5'8" thing matter at all. You know, he's a basketball player. He plays basketball.
Here's Schmitz dumping it back up top to Spellman. Bundy into the corner, McComb. Schmitz comes away with it. And now Center Grove kind of chewing some clock here on this possession.
100%. More than happy to use as much time as they can, even in a way, kind of spreading it into the 4 corners a little bit there.
And now a reach-in foul coming up here on Caleb Francis. That'll be his 4th. So the winner of this game will go on to face the winner of the next game on the docket here tonight. It'll be either Kokomo or Fort Wayne Bishop Luers. Of course, Brownsburg got a big win earlier today in this holiday tournament, as did
Warren Central.
Warren Central.
Yeah, they beat Guerin by 1. I did not get to see that ball game, but I'll tell you what, 1-point ball game, a low score too, 41-40, I believe.
Brownsburg knocking off Columbia City in a subsequent matchup there. That was a pretty easy win for them, as Ankney makes the first of 2 free throws here.
And the way this quarter is going, Kurt, is the way that you'd almost expect it to. Center Grove has the experience, the youth. For Riley maybe showing a little bit here, but the experience to go to the line, hit 2 big free throws, extend the lead.
Final 2 minutes. And Center Grove now with their largest lead of the ball game, at 8 points. They have slowly extended things away here.
And they're extending the defense, which creates more clock usage. Ball gets away.
And Riley coughs it up. They say it's tipped, no over and back, and we play on.
But again, more importantly, the clock is just ticking away.
Time winding down here for Riley to make up an 8-point deficit. Schindler loads it up from deep. He's off the back of the iron. And that was a possession that Riley needed. And now things starting to slip away here from Riley in spite of a valiant effort leading for most of the midway part of this ball game. And now a foul here on South Bend to stop the clock.
Barbera, I have him for 4, and that's what the scoreboard has as well. So, again, now, if you're Center Grove, you need to go to the line. You need to hit these free throws. You had an opportunity. Ankney shoots 65% coming into the ball game.
Again, Marcus Ankney, a future player at Indiana Wesleyan, committed to go there next year to continue his basketball career.
I have him 4 of 5 for today's ball game.
But he misses the 1-and-1.
Okay, so they didn't. Again, like I started to say, you need to go here up there and you need to hit both these free throws. When you don't, you give a team a chance. Now, granted, not much of a chance, but a chance nonetheless.
Manny Hill too strong on the three-pointer there. Bundy now feeling the pressure from Riley as he gets it across court to Baker. And Ankney right to the rim with a big statement right there. Center Grove has had the kitchen sink thrown at them today here by South Bend Riley. And now Marcus Ankney getting close to a 30-burger here tonight. He has 27, rather 29 points. And now a foul in transition. That'll put Schmitz at the line. And so now you hear the Center Grove faithful here who have made the long trip up here up State Road 31 from the south side of Indianapolis, starting to feel a little bit of relief in this one as they are now working, when all is said and done here, to possibly get their 9th win in a row to start the season, which would be their best start to a season in school history.
And getting back to that dunk there by Ankney, I think there was a little bit of frustration there. I think Marcus was a little upset missing that free throw because he knew, if I hit both of these, honestly, it's over. He didn't hit him, goes down, gets on the other end, and gets that dunk and said, you know what, I'm going to get to the hard way here, and I'm going to make them count.
Well, of course, not just frustrating in that regard, but this has been a frustrating game for Center Grove in spite of the fact that they're up here late in this ball game.
One of the things I did notice, too, in the second half, we talked about how many times in the first half the ball would be tipped, and somehow it would just land in a Riley player's hands who would then shoot a 10-footer and hit it. Flip that. There's been 3 or 4 times here in these last 2 quarters where the loose ball has landed in Center Grove's hands, kind of just a way to show that things have a way of evening out.
Ball goes out of bounds there. So final 18 seconds. And another foul coming up here. This time it's going to be on Peyton Bird. Or rather, it's going to be on Schindler here for Center Grove, for South Bend Riley. And so this is Sam Haynes. Again, he's a senior, 6'7". He is actually the tallest player on this roster here for Center Grove, getting some minutes here late in this game.
And I'm going to take you all the way back to a long time ago to a guy named Lloyd Free, later changed his name to World B. Haynes shoots the basketball like World does, all the way back over his head as he hits them both.
Certainly interesting to see the different techniques that people come up with in shooting foul shots. As Haynes hits a couple there, and a missed three-pointer by Hill. And now South Bend just trying to add some extra points there, and they do, as Peyton Baird gets the final word there, but it is not enough, as Center Grove gets their 9th win in a row to start the season. That is their best start in school history. Meanwhile, South Bend Riley, they fall to 5-5 on the season. Final score here, 73-62. It's time for our Thompson Wealth Management Player of the Game. And Jim Leisure, I think it's a unanimous vote. Marcus Ankney, 29 points.
Yeah, I think everybody in the building would vote for him. Just a great game. Kind of did a little bit of everything. Hit some threes, hit some free throws, had a 10-point quarter. Just a really nice game for him.
And there you see him along with the rest of the Center Grove squad going in to the locker room after a big win. So next up for Center Grove, they move on to face the winner of the next game between Kokomo and Bishop Luers, and you can catch all of that right here on the ISC Sports Network. Jim Leisure, let's do another one here a little bit later on.
I got nowhere else to be.
Neither do I. We'll take a timeout here. Coverage continues here in about 20 minutes or so here on the ISC Sports Network of the Phil Cox Memorial Holiday Tournament.
McCulling in time.